Hey, you. Yeah, you. The one with the phone glowing under the blanket. The one who can't sleep because your mind's doing cartwheels. Pull up a chair. Or better yet, stay right where you are, under the covers, where it's safe. I've got someone I want you to meet. Not in person, he's been gone since 61, but his voice, it's still here, still whispering through the static of old reel-to-reel tapes, through the crackle of a 1950s microphone, through the smoke of a pipe he probably shouldn't have been smoking. This is Carl Jung. Not the textbook version, not the collective unconscious buzzword version, the real guy. The one who sat across from a BBC interviewer in a wood-paneled room in Switzerland, chain-smoking, gesturing with his hands like he was sculpting the air, trying to explain why you and I are haunted by dreams we didn't choose, why we fall in love with people who destroy us, why we wake up at 3 a.m. convinced we're frauds. I've got the transcript of that interview. It's long, it's messy, it's beautiful. And tonight, we're not rushing through it. We're going to live in it. Like we're sitting on the floor of his study, the fire popping, the lake outside his window black and endless. I'll read you his words, sure, but I'll also talk to you. I'll pause. I'll wonder out loud. I'll tell you what it makes me feel in my gut. Because this isn't a lecture. This is a conversation. So dim the lights, let the dog snore, and let's begin. He starts with the persona. You know that word, right? The mask. The version of you that shows up to the office holiday party, or the family reunion, or the first date where you're trying not to spill spaghetti on your shirt. Jung says, it's not fake, exactly. It's necessary. The persona is a complicated system of behavior, which is partially dictated by society and partially dictated by the expectations or the wishes of the individual. It's quite all right as long as you know that you are not identical with the way in which you appear. Imagine that. You're a doctor. You put on the white coat, the calm voice, the "I've got this" nod. Patients need that. Your kids need you to be the dad who grills burgers and doesn't cry at Disney movies. Your boss needs you to be the guy who hits deadlines. That's the persona doing its job. But here's where it gets spooky. Most of us forget it's a mask. We fuse with it. We think, this is me. The suit, the smile, the LinkedIn profile. And then we go home and scream at the dog because the Wi-Fi's slow, and our spouse looks at us like, who the hell are you? Jung calls that the Jekyll and Hyde split. The more you identify with the mask, the more the shadow, the real, messy, hungry, scared you, starts banging on the door. And if you don't let it in, it lets itself in. Through affairs, through addictions, through 2 a.m. doom scrolling, through dreams where you're naked in a boardroom and everyone's laughing. I had a friend once. Let's call him Mike. Corporate lawyer, sharp suits, golf handicap in the single digits, everyone's guy you want on your team. But at home, he'd sit in the dark drinking bourbon, staring at the wall, convinced he was a failure because he hadn't made partner by 35. His persona was bulletproof. His soul was bleeding. One night, he dreamed he was a wolf in a pinstripe suit, trapped in a glass office, howling at a moon made of spreadsheets. He told me the next morning, voice shaking. He woke up sobbing, didn't know why. That's the shadow. That's the real self trying to speak through the crack in the mask. Jung says the persona's not the enemy. It's the unconscious identification with it that'll kill you. If you are unconscious of this fact, then you get into sometimes very disagreeable conflicts. People can't help noticing that at home you are quite different from what you appear to be in public. I think about social media. God, do I think about it. We're all little personas now, curated and filtered. The vacation pics, the grateful captions, the humble brags, and then we close the app and hate ourselves because our real life doesn't match the feed. Jung would have had a field day with Instagram. He'd probably say, "You're not depressed because you're not good enough. You're depressed because you've sold your soul to a costume and forgotten you're wearing it." Let's pause the tape. I want to tell you something personal. When I was 28, I was a high school English teacher. Loved the kids, loved the books, but I hated the faculty meetings, hated the grading, hated the fluorescent lights. I'd come home and collapse, convinced I was a fraud. Real teachers loved every minute, right? One night, I dreamed I was in my classroom, but the walls were made of mirrors. Every mirror showed a different version of me. The enthusiastic young teacher, the exhausted dad, the guy who wanted to write novels but never did. And in the center of the room was a little boy, me at 10, holding a crayon drawing of a spaceship. He looked up and said, "You forgot how to fly." I woke up crying. Didn't know why. But I started writing again. Bad poems. Worse short stories. Didn't matter. I was letting the little boy out. The persona, the responsible adult, wasn't the whole story. That's what Jung's talking about. The self isn't the mask. It's the whole damn circus. The teacher, the writer, the kid with the crayon, the wolf in the suit, all of it. Back to Jung. He says most people can't handle more than 2 personas. We can't afford it very well to play more than 2 roles. There are cases where people have up to 5 different personalities. 5. Can you imagine? Waking up and not knowing which you is driving the car, that's not just burnout, that's dissociation. That's the psyche shattering under the weight of too many masks. I knew a woman once, let's call her Sarah. By day, she was the perfect suburban mom. Bake sales, yoga, minivan with a stick figure family on the back window. By night, she was a burlesque dancer. Different name, different city, different everything, She kept the worlds airtight until one day her kid's preschool teacher saw her perform. The fallout was brutal, but you know what? Sarah said it was the best thing that ever happened, because for the first time, she didn't have to choose. She could be both, the mom and the dancer, the persona and the shadow. The self started to emerge. Jung distinguishes between the ego and the self. This is where it gets trippy. The ego is supposed to be the representative of the real person, but the self is a personality that is more complete than the ego, because the ego consists only of what you are conscious of. The ego's the I, the narrator in your head, the one who says, I'm a teacher, I'm a failure, I'm hungry. But the self is the ocean. The ego's just the wave on top. I love how he puts it. While I'm talking, I'm conscious of what I say, yet only to a certain extent. Quite a lot of things happen while I make gestures I'm not conscious of. Any amount of unconscious things occur in my conscious condition. Next time you're in a conversation, watch your hands. Are they moving? Are you fidgeting? That's the self talking. The ego's busy forming sentences, but the self is leaking out in the twitch of your fingers, the way you avoid eye contact when you lie, the way you lean in when you're fascinated. Jung says we're never fully conscious of ourselves, not even close. I'm never fully conscious of myself while I'm trying to elaborate an argument. At the same time, there are unconscious processes that continue. Perhaps a dream which I had last night, or a part of myself thinks of God knows what. This is why therapy works. Not because someone fixes you, but because they hold up a mirror and say, look, there's more here than you think. I had a therapist once who just listened. No advice. No, have you tried yoga? Just, tell me more. And slowly, I started hearing the other voices. The scared kid, the angry teenager, the dreamer who never grew up. They weren't problems to solve. They were parts of me, the self, assembling itself in real time. Now Jung drops a bomb. He says the unconscious isn't just personal, it's collective. While they live a conscious life, all the time a myth is played in the unconscious, a stream of archetypal ideas that goes on through one individual through the centuries. Archetypes. You've heard the word. The hero, the mother, the wise old man, the trickster. Jung says these aren't just stories, they're forces, living patterns in the psyche that show up in dreams, in myths, in the way we fall in love with the wrong person over and over. He predicted the rise of the Nazis, not with a crystal ball, with dreams. I have predicted the Nazi rising in Germany through the observation of my German patients. They had dreams in which the whole thing was anticipated. Imagine that. A Swiss psychiatrist in 1919 watching his patients dream of swastikas and marching boots, knowing something monstrous was stirring in the collective unconscious. That's not woo-woo, that's data. The psyche doesn't lie, it just speaks in symbols. Let's talk about Hitler. Jung's careful here. He doesn't reduce him to a daddy issue. Hitler represents a hero figure, far more important than any fathers that have ever existed. He was a savior, not the savior, a savior. The archetype of the wounded leader who promises to make the tribe whole again. Charisma as a drug, the crowd as a mirror. I think about cult leaders, politicians, influencers with million-dollar smile filters. Same archetype, different costume. Jung's big on introversion and extroversion, but not like the BuzzFeed quizzes. There are certain people who are more influenced by their surroundings, while other people are more influenced by the subjective factor. Extroverts drink from the world. Introverts drink from the well inside. Neither's better. Both are necessary. But America? Jung says we're extroverted like hell. We worship the loud, the shiny, the hustle. The introvert's left apologizing for needing quiet. The introvert has no place because he doesn't know that he beholds the world from within, and that gives him dignity. I felt that. Growing up, I was the kid reading in the corner while everyone else played kickball. Teachers said, he needs to come out of his shell. Maybe I just liked my shell. Maybe the shell was where the good stuff was. Then he breaks down the 4 functions: thinking, feeling, sensation, intuition. Sensation tells you that there is something. Thinking tells you what it is. Feeling tells you whether it is agreeable or not. Intuition, you don't know how you know. Intuition's the weird one. The hunch, the gut punch, the don't walk down that alley vibe. He tells this story about a patient, a sensation type, and an intuitive type, betting on who'd spot a diving bird first. The sensation guy's scanning the water, logical, methodical. The intuitive woman, she just knows, wins every time. Intuition is a perception by means of the unconscious. I had a friend who swore she could smell rain before it came. Not metaphorically, literally. Said it smelled like pennies and wet pavement. Drove her husband nuts. Until one day, they're on a road trip, she says, "Pull over." And 2 minutes later, a tornado touches down behind them. That's intuition, not magic. Just the unconscious doing math faster than the ego can. He tells this wild story about an introverted, intuitive patient. A young woman who says, "I have a snake in my abdomen." Not metaphorically. She feels it, coiled, black, alive. She had foretold me I'd cure her in 10 consultations. On the 10th day, she said, "This morning it came up and came out of my mouth, and the head was gold." Gold, not cold, gold. The alchemical symbol of wholeness. This woman wasn't crazy. She was healing, Her psyche was telling a story her ego couldn't understand. The snake wasn't a problem, it was a guide, leading her from the gut to the throat, from instinct to voice. Jung says intuitive types often don't see the world, they feel it. Once I had a woman patient. There was a half-smoked cigar in the ashtray. She said, "You must have seen somebody at 8 o'clock. How did she know? She didn't see the thing, she just knew. That's the unconscious talking, not through words, through vibes. I had a boss once who could walk into a meeting and say, "Something's off." No data, no reason, just a feeling. 9 times out of 10, he was right. Someone was lying. Someone was about to quit. Someone was stealing. That's intuition, the introverted kind. The kind that sees 10 miles ahead but trips over the curb. Let's start with the snake. Not Jung's patient, mine. I was 32, freshly divorced, living in a studio apartment that smelled like ramen and regret. I'd started seeing a Jungian analyst because talk therapy felt like rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic. She had this quiet office with a single orchid on the windowsill and a rug that looked like it'd been woven by monks. 3rd session, she says, "Tell me a dream." I laugh. I don't dream. Lie. I dreamed every night, but the dreams were boring. Falling, teeth crumbling, the usual anxiety playlist. Then one night, I'm in a cave, dark, wet, smells like copper and moss. I'm naked, crawling on my hands and knees. Something's behind me. I don't look back. I know it's a snake. Not scary, just there, following. I wake up gasping, heart jackhammering. Tell the analyst. She doesn't flinch, just asks, "What color?" "Black," I say, "with a red stripe down its back." She nods. "Draw it." I draw a shitty snake. Looks like a kindergarten project. But when I finish, I'm crying. Don't know why. Next session, she shows me a picture from an old alchemy book. A serpent eating its tail. Ouroboros. The cycle of death and rebirth. "That's your snake," she says. "It's not trying to hurt you. It's trying to become you." I didn't get it then, but I get it now. The divorce wasn't the end. It was the shedding. The snake was me, molting. The red stripe, anger, passion. The parts I'd buried under good husband and nice guy. I still have that drawing. It's in a box under my bed. Sometimes I take it out. The snake looks less shitty now. Almost beautiful.
Now he gets into synchronicity. This is where Jung loses half his audience and hooks the other half for life. There are plenty of facts where you come across cases of a very peculiar kind of parallel events. I speak of a red car, and at that moment a red car comes by. Not cause and effect, not coincidence, meaningful coincidence. He references Rhine's ESP experiments, statistically significant, beyond chance. It is a relativization of time and space through the psyche. I had a synchronicity once. I was thinking about my dad. Hadn't talked to him in years. Literally mid-thought, my phone rings. It's him. Not a text, not an email, a call. First one in a decade. We didn't say much, just, hey. Hey. You okay? Yeah. But the timing? The universe winking? Jung would say, the psyche doesn't care about your clocks and calendars. When something matters, the world rhymes. He talks about libido, not just sex, energy, life force. Freud uses the term libido in the sense of sexual energy. But energy is a concept by which you try to express the analogies of all power manifestations. Hunger, creativity, rage, grief. It's all the same current, just wearing different masks. I think about artists who paint through heartbreak, runners who chase the high, parents who haven't slept in 3 days but still get up at 5 a.m. to make pancakes. That's libido. That's the river. I remember the first time I fell in love. I was 19. She was a barista with a tattoo of a compass on her wrist. I'd go to the coffee shop every day just to watch her steam milk. Didn't even like coffee. One day she wrote her number on my cup. I didn't sleep for 3 days. Wrote her poems on napkins. That wasn't lust. That was libido. The life force saying, wake up, something's happening. Didn't last, of course not. But the energy, it's still in me. Turned into songs, into this podcast, into the way I love my kid. Same river, different banks. He pushes back on the idea that motivation is just historical. Even chronic neurosis has its true cause in the moment now. But that attitude is a fact that needs to be explained historically. You're not anxious because of your childhood. Not entirely. You're anxious because you're choosing to stay stuck. Every day. But the past, it's the soil. The moment, it's the weather. Both matter. I used to blame my dad for everything. Absent, alcoholic, the whole cliché. Therapy helped me see, yeah, he fucked up. But I was 35, still waiting for an apology that would never come. The neurosis wasn't his anymore. It was mine. One day I wrote him a letter. Never sent it. Just burned it in the backyard. Watched the smoke curl up like a question mark. That was the moment. Not the letter, the burning. Therapy, for Jung, isn't about digging up the past forever. It's about now. In therapy, you treat the patient as he is in the present moment, irrespective of causes. He tells a story about a philosophy professor convinced he has cancer. X-rays say no. Doctors say no. But he believes. I say, what is the power that makes you think such nonsense? We come to the question, what is it in your unconscious that hinders you? Dreams. That's the doorway. Not interpretation, conversation. The unconscious is in a compensated relationship to consciousness. Your dreams aren't random. They're the self, trying to balance the scale. I had a recurring dream for years. I'm on a stage, spotlight blazing, but I don't know my lines. The audience is waiting. I open my mouth, nothing. Woke up every time in a cold sweat. Told my analyst. She asked, "Who's in the audience?" Didn't know. Then one night, I look out. It's my dad, my ex-wife, my third-grade teacher who said I'd never amount to anything. Next dream, same stage. But this time, I start improvising. Bad jokes, worse dancing. The audience laughs with me. I wake up, laughing. The dream changed because I changed. The unconscious was keeping score. He distinguishes between the personal unconscious and the collective unconscious. The personal, your stuff, your mom's voice, your first heartbreak, your fear of spiders. The collective, the stuff we all share, the mother, the flood, the wise old man, the dragon. Collective problems. You belong to a certain political party or a certain confession, and that can be a serious determinant of your behavior. I think about 9/11. Everyone remembers where they were, not because it happened to them, but because it happened to us. The archetype of the tower falling, or COVID, the plague, the isolation, the masks, not the persona kind, but close. We all dreamed the same dreams. Empty cities, breathing underwater. That's the collective unconscious, waking up. I was in Hanoi when the first lockdown hit. March 2020. The streets went silent. Motorbikes vanished. The air smelled like jasmine and fear. I started dreaming of floods, not water, people. Waves of faces crashing through my apartment. Couldn't breathe. Then one night, the dream shifts. I'm on a boat. Old man at the helm, white beard, eyes like galaxies. He hands me an oar, says, "Row." Woke up calm. Didn't know why, but I started writing again. This time, not for me. for the city, for the silence. The old man never saw him awake, but I know him. The wise old man, the archetype that shows up when the world ends and you need a map. He tells a story about a patient dreaming mythological images. Suddenly he dreamt of things he had never thought of in his life before. He thought he was crazy. Not crazy, initiated. The psyche was dragging him into the deep end. I had a dream once after my divorce. I was in a desert, digging. Kept digging. Found a stone tablet with writing I couldn't read. Woke up sobbing. Didn't know why. Months later, I found the tablet in a museum. Sumerian, 4,000 years old. The writing, a lament for a lost child. I don't have a child, but I lost something. The dream knew. Jung says repression isn't the whole story. These things disappear, not because they are repressed, but because they are unconscious. Some stuff was never conscious to begin with. It just is. Like gravity. I think about phobias, spiders, heights, public speaking. You didn't learn to be afraid. The fear was waiting. The archetype of the devouring mother. The fall. The exposure. Therapy doesn't erase it. It befriends it. I used to be terrified of public speaking. Heart racing, palms sweating, convinced I'd forget my name. Then one day, I'm giving a talk. 200 people. Mid-sentence, I freeze. The fear hits, but this time, I name it. Out loud. Wow, my heart's racing. Anyone else feel that? Laughter, applause. The fear didn't go away. It just wasn't in charge anymore. He talks about individuation, the process of becoming whole. Take an acorn, put it into the ground. It becomes an oak. That is man, not fixing yourself, growing yourself. I think about therapy, 12-step, meditation, psychedelics, all doors to the same room. The room where the acorn remembers it's an oak. I did ayahuasca once. Peru, 2018. Thought I was going to meet God. Instead, I met my 8-year-old self. He was sitting under a tree, building a fort out of sticks. Looked up and said, "You stopped playing." I cried for hours. Not sad tears. Relief. The medicine didn't fix me. It reminded me. The acorn was still there, just buried under 30 years of grown-up. The mandala, the circle in the square, the symbol of wholeness, It either expresses the deity or the self. It spontaneously appears as a compensatory archetype, bringing order. I drew mandalas after my mom died. Didn't know why, just needed to. Circles within circles, colors I didn't know I had. Years later, I found them in a box. Realized I'd drawn the same pattern over and over. A cross in a circle, the oldest symbol in the world. The self saying hello. My mom's ashes are in a small wooden box on my shelf. Next to it, one of those mandalas, framed. The colors have faded, but the circle's still perfect. Sometimes I touch it, whisper, I'm still growing. We're nearing the end. The jazz is barely a whisper now. Jung's last words in the interview. Man is not born every day. He is once born in a specific historical setting, with specific historical qualities, and therefore, he is only complete when he has a relationship to these things. You are not a statistic. You are not your trauma. You are not your persona. You are the acorn, the oak, the snake with the golden head, the red car that appears when you need it. You are the dream you can't explain, the hunch you can't ignore, the mask you wear and the face beneath it. You are the self, becoming. So here's my invitation. Tonight, before you sleep, do one thing. Close your eyes. Put your hand on your chest. Feel the beat. Ask, what part of me is trying to speak? Don't answer. Just listen. The answer will come. Maybe in a dream. Maybe in a song. Maybe in the way the light hits the wall tomorrow morning. But it will come. Because the self never stops knocking. Good night, friend. See you in the dream.